Fridge. I'm live. My webcam sucks.
Huh?
My webcam sucks right now. So, and there's
Did you tell me you were going to go live?
Mhm.
Well, it's a Friday night and it's football games.
Hey, somebody's on. Right there's good. So that's good.
I should have reflected on your glasses.
John, Will first. Can you hear me okay? I got a new microphone. I'm greater than football. Hush, Bumper.
Come on, Bob. Come on, Dash.
Happy New Year, Donald Gray. How's it going? Can y'all hear me okay? Cool. I got a new microphone, so I'm trying that out. Instead of being in the shop, I'm in the house because it's kind of cold outside. I can't do anything about it. Loud and clear. Cool. Come here. A little overmodulated. Is it too much gain? I can turn it down. I don't know how, but let's see. How's that? Is that better? Hush, Bumper. My dog's in here going crazy. Come here. Up. Up. She wants me on camera. All my dogs, all my animals are named after car parts.
Bumper. Dash.
This is Bumper, and then Dash is on the floor. So, anyway, get him. What's going on tonight, guys? Y'all doing all right? Buford, Georgia. All right, man. You're not terribly far from me. JB's little shop's in here. Have you posted a video lately? I haven't gotten a video lately from you. Let's see. And the comments are in real time since I'm using my laptop this time, so hopefully there won't be a delay. I got home from work too late to go out in the shop and really do anything before it got too late to make the neighbors mad, so I figured I'd go live. Hey, number one, how many Canadian Acadian Venturas have I bought this week? That one you sent me is probably the, let me move this light. That one you sent me is probably the best deal on a Ventura I've seen in a while. So probably the best. I've got a glare I'm trying to get rid of. That's not really better, is it? Anyway, yeah. That number one that you sent, that Pontiac Ventura you sent me, that's probably the best deal I've seen on a Ventura in a while. It's a pretty good deal. Cool. All right. Hang on just a second. That's just going to echo real bad if you do that. Just let me know. All right. My wife's going to come and try to adjust the light so I don't look like an alien. 25% off. So my money's 25% better than that money. That's not bad. Blue Wolf. Okay, I know her. William Sanders, how's it going, man?
Hi.
Right.
Hope everybody had a good New Year. Actually, John, yeah, I was thinking about trying to make that. Now that's in the middle of summer, and since I'm in the heating and air business, I'm not positive, but I would love to make it up there to Missouri. My wife is so young. That's my granddaughter. So Sweetwater, Tennessee. How's it going, man? Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the winter right now. It hasn't really gotten cold here. It's a little chilly outside. It's probably in that looks better. It's 41 degrees here right now, so that's not terrible. It's a little cold in the shop. Speed Loyalty Boost Edition. How about it, man? Y'all doing all right tonight? I think we're going to have a pretty good 2022. Family business? Yeah, pretty much. My wife does a lot behind the scenes. mostly holding me back when I'm trying to walk in Summit Racing. But I'm just kidding. She's very supportive. She's very supportive. So it's a family affair. They'll get out there and help me all I ask them to. William Sanders, where are you at to have that much snow to be able to drive around in circles? We just get ice here. We don't really get snow. $18 degrees, freaking cold today. Yeah, I bet it is. My buddy, Farm Kid, if he checks in tonight, he's probably working. No, he's off this week. He's in Canada, and it's like 35 below where he's at. So, and I think that's in the middle of the day. It's 35 below. Pretty dang cold. Delaware, but yeah, you get some real cold weather here. We rarely get below. If we ever get below 30 degrees, it doesn't stay that way for more than a few hours. I mean, every once in a while, we'll have a week of every day gets in the 20s and stays there. But
I believe Blue Wolf said something. So.
I see that. I can't answer everybody. All right. Between Delaware and PAC, yeah, you get good snow. Yeah, I've done that. Number one, I've put parts in my shopping cart, and then I'll get an email reminding me that I have parts in my shopping cart, and it'll ask me if I want a discount or give me a discount code. That's a pretty good trick. 7 inches of snow. Yeah, I think we had a blizzard in 93, and I think they called it the blizzard of 93, and I think we got 4 inches. And in 73, we had a blizzard. I was like 2 months old, a month old in 73, and we got a blizzard in February, and we had 16 inches of snow, and it pretty much stopped the world of Middle Georgia. Negative 40 Celsius, yeah, that's cold. And I think somewhere around negative 35 Celsius is the same as negative 35 Celsius is somewhere around negative 30, negative 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit are almost the same. 36 inch at once in a blizzard in 93. Wow. Oh, Rosa 4x4s. That's funny, man. Only 7 inches? Yeah. Anybody working on anything in this weather? Y'all got heaters in your shops? I got heat in mine, but by the time it warms up, it'll be too late to do anything. I can work in the cold depending on what I'm doing. I've got a transmission to put together this weekend. Eight people, man. I'm disappointed. I'm just kidding. I'm not disappointed. It was very short notice, and it's a Friday night. Everybody's probably out having a good time somewhere. Well, I had a lot of response to my last few videos I posted. I appreciate you guys checking that out. Had a ton of comments on it. That was pretty cool. And some of those videos I put out, and I have no idea how they're going to do. And a couple of them I've sent to my buddy Brian Powell and Russ. I've sent a couple of videos to them, checking letting them watch the video first to kind of see how they like it. And they've both given me the approval, so I've made the videos public, and they've both done really well. So the last couple of videos were pretty good. Some of my talking videos where I'm just going over Nova facts and stuff like that, just talking about Nova stuff and car stuff. Some of those I feel like they're not going to be great, and they turn out really, really good. Take apart 400 Pontiac. Yeah, I really want to find another. I had a 79 Firebird, and I really want to find another one like that. BW's Garage. See, and I went live tonight. I wasn't sure if I was going to be stepping on anybody else's toes or not. Hearing that echo is going to mess me up. So turn it down some. Is rollarizing a Turbo 400 worth the effort? I don't know. I don't know what all is involved in modifying it for the rollerized bearings and stuff, but if you do that, it definitely helps, but I'm not sure the power level. A stock one that's not rollerized would probably help a pretty good bit. I'm gonna move this light back a little bit. There we go. I think a fairly stock Turbo 400 with good clutches in it and a good rebuild, I think will handle a pretty good bit of power. I know the stock input shaft is 900 horsepower without too much trouble. Yeah, that getting doors on my shop. I've got the money to do it now because I stopped buying Nova parts for a month. I got sick and stopped buying Nova parts, and now I have money to put doors on my shop. Who knew that was how that worked? But 1 hour from 6:30 to 7:30 to join, and then go live at 7:30 on your channel. Okay, so it was over by the time because it's 8:20 here. I'm gonna need to try that. Yeah, I'll go check that out. Hey, what heads are on your Pontiac, William? I had a 79 Firebird, and it had a WT code 69 400 in it, which was a manual trans originally 400, and it had number 62 casting heads on it. The good 62 casting. I think there's two versions of the 62 heads, but it had the good heads on it. I'll never get sick of Novas, no. Cool. I need to check that out. Number one. Yeah, JB, you can type a bunch of money in parts in a hurry with these old cars, and it's not this light is killing me. I'm gonna try to fix it a little bit. That's really not that much better. It's the computer screen that's really reflecting on my glasses some. I was trying to make that better, but I don't think I am. Oh well. All right. I'm talking about, okay, Dave, we're talking about on the Pontiacs, number 62 heads. They go with a 2-digit code on their heads on a Pontiac 400. But yeah, Pontiacs, man, I had a 79 Pontiac Firebird, and that thing had torque for days. A 73 Bonneville, probably, if it came from a 73 Bonneville, it probably has either 4X or 6X heads. If it's got 6X heads, you want to check and see if it's got the, I can't remember, it's been a while since I played with Pontiac stuff, but there should be a 6X and there should be like a dash 4 or something like that. And if it has that, they are the 98cc heads, which is way better than the 110cc or something like that. No problem, Dave. How you doing tonight, man? The factory Pontiac heads, if most of the heads flow really well stock, the biggest problem with Pontiac is getting a set of heads that has decent chambers to build some compression. If you have a 455, it's not a problem. But if you've got a 400 or a 389 or something like that, or a 326 or something like that, it's hard to get any compression on a Pontiac. Number one, we're talking about Pontiac 400s, not the Chevrolet 396 big block. And yeah, in 1970, I think they changed all the 71, they changed the 396 to a 402, and they were bored 30 over, but it's the same motor, but they called it a 400. And I think some of the trucks might have actually said 400 on the side instead of 402. I can't remember. Some of that big block stuff, the actual factory nomenclature stuff kind of eludes me. That's why I don't talk about big blocks a whole lot. I'm more adept at small blocks. I'm building a big block, which that's going in that 69 Nova that I'm taking forever to put all the rust panels on. That's right. Yeah, as long as you the castings are good, you'll be fine. Yeah, if you don't have good springs on the valves with the bigger valves they've got, you'll float the valves pretty quick. JB Shop is right, and also some of your Pontiac casting heads, they're missing a bolt hole for the exhaust, and you have to see if I can turn this down a little bit. Hey, well, that's a little better. Hey, okay. I turned my screen brightness down a little bit. I mean, I can't read anything now, but I don't look like an alien. Some of your Pontiac heads are missing a bolt hole for the exhaust, and mounting a header on it is very difficult. And now you can't see me at all. That's lovely. Sorry, guys. I'm just playing with this light here, trying to make it where it's not blinding me. Yeah, and on a Pontiac head, I think you can cut them 60 thousandths without messing up the intake angle. They've got a different intake angle, so it's not as bad as a small block Chevrolet. But if you do cut them, we'll be here, Mark. Take your time. If you do cut a Pontiac head or any other head, you can just cut the same amount off the intake flange. Most machine shops know how to do that without any problems. And hey, Tommy, how's it going? Most machine shops can cut the intake side also the same amount, and it takes away whatever angle loss you have to keep your intake from fitting right. Ever convert a 73 quarter window to 72? No, not yet. I've got a car. I cut some of it up for my buddy Brian, but I've got one of the Novas that I bought when I bought 5 Novas. One of them I bought. Get that right. One of them I bought. I kept half the car. It didn't have a VIN, and it was in terrible shape, but I kept some of the inner structure so that if I wanted to convert one, I could. And I kept some of the parts around like the drip rail and the cell panel area, the inside structure of the cell panel. So I kept that. And I'm thinking about doing one day. But I like the 73 74s a lot. I actually prefer a 73 over the older years. Now, if you don't, that's fine. But I would like to convert one just to say I've done it. There's a guy on several of the Nova Facebook groups, John Pudasek. I have Pudasek. I have no idea how to say his name, and we're not friends on Facebook, but he did a 73, I think, or 74. He changed everything, and he did a fantastic job. And you will never know that it's not a 72 or earlier car. As long as the block's good, the crank's good, the rods, and you can use an aftermarket rod on those Pontiacs, and it really, really helps the strength of them. The factory rods were not terribly strong. For a street motor, they're fine, but I wouldn't spend over 5,500 RPM with them. And yeah, Pontiac stuff, you might as well be building a Mopar because it's all super expensive. Actually, I was on the way to a job the other day, and I drove past a house, and they had a very bad condition, like a 71, 72 Trans Am or Firebird. It had the Formula hood and a shaker, so I'm not sure what that is. I have to do some research on it, but I'm going to put some dirty clothes on and drive my old truck over there and knock on the door and see if they'll sell it to me cheap, because you show up in a nice truck and nice clothes on and they think you got plenty of money. So I'm going to try the broke boy approach and see if I can get me a car cheap. Got some Nebo multi-direction lights from a shop. What a light. I bought some pretty cheap. I went to Lowe's and bought some pretty cheap LEDs, and they were pretty good. The granddaughter into Novas and Venturas. One of them loves my cars. The other one loves playing on YouTube. She's watching right now. Both of them like the cars, but one of them, she's commented on here a little while ago, Blue Wolf. That is the older of the two granddaughters. She likes gaming, so she likes playing games and watching YouTube videos about other people playing games. They're all into Roblox and stuff like that. No more do. Hey, look, No kidding. It's the small dew, and this is my second one of the day. I have one of the, and actually wasn't even a whole one. I have cut way, way back. Some days I don't drink any Mountain Dew at all. So thank you though. I've went to water, a little bit of sweet tea, but I'm trying to stay off the caffeine. I did get a complete good news from my doctor. Hey, so come here.
Okay.
Yes, she likes being on YouTube. But yeah, my doctor gave me a good report, so everything's good now. Got my blood pressure under control. My cholesterol's good now. So yeah, we're all good. New medicine. I'm feeling fantastic. Yeah. Oh, and see, even here, old cars near me in Georgia, everybody think, hey, it's a Southern car. It's nice and rust free. I'm like, have you ever been here? Because there's a lot of stuff here that's not. Now, if you got west, southwest, sure, nothing rust out there. But here, it's wet all the time and pine straw and leaves. Adam SS, how's it going, man? You made it. That's right, JB. You wear some old clothes and borrow somebody's raggedy car if you don't have one. I got plenty of raggedy vehicles, so that's not a problem. But you show up in an $80,000 Chevy truck with leather interior, wearing a Patagonia, pullover or something, and they're gonna think you're yuppie and not sell you anything. Sweet tea, yes. Farm Kid, my buddy, Farm Kid, I gave him the recipe. So you want to use Lipton black tea, okay? And you want to use Lipton black tea bags, the regular small bags. Put 3 or 4, boil them in a pot with a quart or 2 of water. Let that steam on the stove for a few minutes, and then you want to pour that into your other water, your half gallon or 3/4 gallon of water, and add your sugar in there while it's all hot, and stir it up. You're good to go. It's making you put at least a cup, a whole, like, and when I say cup, I don't mean a measuring cup. I mean like a coffee cup of sugar in a gallon of sweet tea, and you're ready for Georgia. All right, yellow number 7 and D. We'll get that's right, man. Yeah, Stephen, it's very easy to find a rusty car here in Georgia.
Don't use as a metal spoon.
Yep, and if they have by the way, number 1, if you're going to stir that, you don't stir sweet tea with a metal spoon. You stir it with a wooden spoon. It takes some of the acid flavor out of it. Upstate New York, yeah, you're covered with snow right now, aren't you? Paul Cazares, I hope I said that right. A 71, got it in 86. It was a 4-speed with a 3-3 stroker. Oh, wow. Hello from Utah, RPM Garage. Hey, how's it going on, man? What part of Utah are you in? Somewhere around Salt Lake City? Yep. Yeah, it sucks. I've had stuff I've had to put in storage, and then I had to go clean it out, and yeah, it's a long time ago. I had some stuff. I didn't lose it, but it was real close. I was saying that for some of the other people, man. What kind of tea do you use? Number 1. Close to my cousin. That's right. Yeah, I think we talked before about that. Shoot, yeah, man. How's the weather in Utah right now? I might drive out to Barrett Jackson in a couple of weeks. We're going to drive if we go. Not too bad. It's just cold. Cool, Dave. Yeah, Lunar Outlaw's garage is up in New York. I want to get up there and see him at some point. Me and him have talked about doing a collab, but we're so far apart. So I need to get with Brian, and maybe I'll end up there. He'll end up down here in Georgia. I think for either one of us, it'd be a little bit of culture shock. I've never been to New York. Been to Pennsylvania. That was bad enough. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just messing with you. Nothing bad about Pennsylvania. We like going to Carlisle. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. 57 today. Well, that's not bad. Are y'all getting much of the smoke? Because last October when we came through Utah, had a bunch of smoke in Salt Lake City after we left Yellowstone and Grand Teton. We drove over to Utah to see my cousin and look at the Henry J, and there was a ton of smoke there from all the wildfires. Hey, Onigmot. I hope I said Onignot. Yeah, Onigmot. I'll take your word for it. Cool. Thank you for watching my videos. Adirondack Nationals. No, I have never been there. Yeah, originally we talked about doing the Buick, but yeah, had a bunch, but it all melted. Cool. I've got some cousins that were from Pittsburgh, which is like a different state. It's not the same as the rest of Pennsylvania. We everybody down here drinks Coke. They drink pop. I don't get it. We have dogs. They have dogs. Whatever. Pittsburgh's another country. Okay, Tom, cool. Yeah, I mean, Brian's got a whole bunch going on, and I think he'll get the Buick done eventually. Negative 26 today. Goodness gracious, man. 3,500 cars. Yeah, I need to get up there. That's something I'd like to see. Like I said, I've been to Carlisle. I wanted to go to the they used to have the big nationals up there in I don't think they have it anymore. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul area, they had the probably the car. I think it was the car craft they used to have up there or something. I don't think they have it anymore. Cheap lights from Harbor Freight. Yeah, I bought mine from Lowe's, and I want to say they were 40 or 50 bucks a piece. I've got 6 lights in my shop, 6 8-foot LED bulbs in my shop. Farther north, got super close to PA. I finally started seeing Subarus and other Japanese cars a lot. There you go. That's fine. That's the 4-door, right? RPM garage? Or am I getting confused? I owe a lot of people parts. I've got a list of parts I'm supposed to send to people. I've got for Travis, I've got a grill. I've got a hood latch for someone. I've got it all written down somewhere. 4 10,000 lumen from Harbor Freight 2. I guess those are pretty good, huh? A 2-door. All right, you need a wing window. I think I have a good one. Which side do you need? Did you tell me already? And guys, if you go to my About section on my YouTube page, the About section has my email address in there. You might have to click on there and hit Show Email, but it'll say for business inquiries, but you can email me there. The Good Guys, right. And see, I think Good Guys put on something. There was one we almost went to a few years ago, one of their bigger shows. I want to say it was in Ohio or somewhere. It's one of their bigger shows. They used to have one in Georgia, and they actually had one right here in my city 17 or 18 years ago. They had it once. It was a pretty good show, but it's a great facility, but for whatever reason, they never came back. Driver's side. Yeah, the 71 Nova that I cut in half, I've got a door on it, and I think about the only thing good in it is a vent window. So, yeah, just email me or see if you can email me on my YouTube page that's got the About thing. Y'all hit the like button for me. Rust-free compared to the north, but if they were parked on dirt, the floors are gone. Yeah, so the thing is, from what I've seen, cars from the north are usually rusted real bad on the bottom, like frame rails. Like my buddy Brian has one. Man, the frame rails, there's nothing left of where the frame rail, the rocker, and all that stuff meet. There's nothing there. I mean, I can't believe he put it on a lift and he couldn't believe the car would stay together. Like the leaf springs were staying in the car. It was crazy. But Here, they rust around the window channels real bad because leaves and pine straw and moisture. It's so humid here. If you get any chips or anything like that, the trunk, the weather stripping goes bad, the window felts go bad, and all that stuff, it gets down in the bottom of the quarter panels. Usually the frame rails, I don't have any of them with bad frame rails. None of the cars I've got, none of the rusty cars I've got, the frame rails are all in great shape. Now, I've got one that's in storage that I'm probably going to, it's a 71. I've got a 72 that I kind of showed in one of my latest videos for a minute. One of those two is going to be my next project probably. And those two both have good frame rails, but the back of them, the trunk is rusted real bad. The taillight panels are pretty much gone. And then even on the 71, the cross rail panel has a good bit of rust in it. Hippie Miller, how's it going, man? Dave Plouffe, have a good night, man. Thank you. And I'll try to give more notice next time so y'all can plan to hang out if you want to. Got your dad's old 32 Ford with a 390. Wow. 65 Mustang, SS Impala. Awesome, dude. Awesome. I've got my dad's 90 model F-150, and I've got to get it going. It's been sitting for a long time without running. I've got that and his bass boat that we used to tournament fish in. No problem, RPM. Thank you for checking out everything. Pulled a Toyota out of Jasper after sitting 27 years, and the floors are solid. Yeah, some stuff here sitting on the ground is fine. It's weird how stuff rusts here. And like I've got one of the cars I've got that 69 Nova that I'm working on, the budget build. The right side is way rustier than the left side was. And I wonder if it was sitting on a hill or sitting at an angle where all the water puddled up on that side better. I don't know. Dust holding moisture in all the nooks and crannies. Yeah, I agree. So they can stick all of a sudden on the exhaust valve. Adam SS talking about. We talked about that last time. I mean, yeah, put some mystery oil in it, maybe, or something like that, and then beat on it. But if it's stuck, is it bent or is it just stuck? Because I mean, that's kind of weird that a guide would bind up like that without some lack of lubrication or bent or something like that. But I guess it could. All right, let's see here. Yeah, here it's like I said, it's mostly pine straw and dirt, and it rains a bunch. Yeah, Hippie Miller also suggested Marvel Mystery Oil works really good unsticking valves, and I thought I had used it on some valves that were making noise. They weren't completely stuck. And John Wilburn, y'all should check out his channel. He does all kind of interviews with guys from all over YouTube, other car guys. He had me on a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. And he's going to have an event. I don't think he's went live with it yet, but he's going to have an event where he's going to have all YouTubers in August in Missouri. They're going to have like a track day, car show, burnout contest. He hasn't released all the details, I don't think, yet. So I'm going to have to check that out. I would love to be able to go. Salt, I bet, yeah. And ATF works just as good as Marvel Mystery. Probably not far from the same exact thing. And, that's something that here we don't have in Middle Georgia. We don't have enough snow to have any equipment for handling ice on the roads or anything like that. And so when we have a little bit of snow, it shuts us down. I mean, they close schools. Seriously, if they have any accumulation of ice or snow, we close all the schools. Just because we don't have any way to deal with it. It's not that we're all that, we're not incapable, but the government's here. There's no budget, no funds, because really you need it once every 7 or 8 years. I think it's probably been probably 2010 or 2011. I think it's February of 2011. I was working at a hospital and we had a lot of ice here. Okay, I got you. Okay, there's John Wilburn. Yes, Dallas Brown will be on to discuss the event on January 11th. So you guys make sure you check out John Wilburn's channel. Go subscribe there. Wait for him to have that thing on January 11th, which is just a few days away. And he'll be on Talking Mopar's podcast on the 15th, which is my birthday. So about to confirm Simpson Speed Shop on my channel for January. Cool. He's got a ton of cool stuff coming up. And I watch Simpson Speed Shop. He's got a lot of cool stuff too. No problem, John. Like I said, I'm going to try to make it to that. So I'm going to take my Frankenova up there. So maybe might take a 307 up there and beat up on a bunch of 318s. Roswell. Yeah, Roswell's right outside of Atlanta. Pretty much in Atlanta. And I'm going to try to do, I want to try to go over to the Mopars and Brand X. I want to do that. That's at Jake's Drag Strip in North Alabama. That's not terribly far from me. So I want to really take the 307 build over there, even if I have to stick it in Frankenova, which I really don't want to run the 307 in Frankenova because it's got a turbo 400 and they take a little bit more horsepower to turn than a turbo 350. And there's no need to have that transmission behind a 307 at all. It might make, if I'm really lucky, it'll make 350 horsepower, and I'm never going to hurt a turbo 350 with that either. Hey, Rob, how's it going, man? Chicago, in the house. Chi-town, ain't that what they call it? That's not pejorative? Pejorative? Derogatory. How about that? We'll go with that word. Local junkyard in Phoenix, they would not budge on it. I tried to purchase it, but they said nope. Yeah, and it's like somebody posted an ad from Desert Valley Auto Parts, I think, posted an ad here in the last couple of days on one of the Facebook groups. It was a 73 SS Nova. It looked like it was in pretty good shape, and it was being parted out. And someone commented on there, why in the world are they parting that out? Because they are in the business of dismantling cars. I mean, it sucks to see it. I don't like seeing cars being. I mean, I've bought two cars that were called part. Well, more than two. Lately, I've bought two cars that were called parts cars, and I'm restoring both of them. Well, I'm fixing both of them. Restoring is a strong word. We're not restoring stuff. We're fixing stuff. So. No, I'm talking about the budget Nova I want to put a 307. I want to smoke a 318 with a 307, which was Craig's. Craig is painting the Dart. And when we're done painting that, we're going to have our little race 307 versus 318. So the budget Nova's got the 350 in it. So yeah, it would smoke a 318 car. I agree. And actually, I kind of like, I'm following that Junkyard Jet that Uncle Tony's channel is building. The other guys that are building that, Austin, I think is his name, and the other guys. I'm following that build. I'm going to do something similar to that, except it'll be me building it. But I want to do a similar build. Let's put that away. Something similar. Not trying to rip off his ideas, but it's a really good idea, and it's all that stuff's been done before, whether by magazines or other channels. And thank you, Rob. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I would love the 307 even if I don't win, I would love the 307 to race a 318. Now with the Mopar 318, they've got like a 14-degree valve angle, so they're not going to be a slouch. They make some power, and with the small block Chevrolet, we got a 23-degree valve angle, so it's a big difference. Now I want to say a stock 318 bore is the same as or real close to the same as a 30 over 307. They got a slightly bigger stroke. I think they got a 3.31 stroke in a 318. I'm not positive on that. So, and then the 307 has 3.25 stroke. So they're really similar in a lot of ways. Now, you have factory-wise, you don't have a lot of options for a 307 head unless you want to put. You can 305 heads on there, but like I did. But then the valves are pretty tiny too, so that kind of hurts you a little bit. Yeah, they're building a 360 in the Junkyard Jet, right? And I don't know if either I've missed it or I don't remember, but I'm not sure if they're building a flat tappet cam motor or a roller cam motor. A 4-door Nova to a 2-door. Okay, from 68 to 74, you can't, because the 4-door Nova has a taller roof. The windshield is longer. The A-pillar is at a slightly, well, the A-pillar versus the roof is at a slightly different angle because of the height. Because I've got some chrome or the drip rail trim for a 4-door, and it does not fit a 2-door. The angle is different. And I'm not sure if the A-pillar angle is different or if the roof angle in relation to the A-pillar angle is different. I'm not sure. But I know the roof, the front area of the roof on the whole roof on a 4-door is different. So that being said, the whole back of it with the post and all, the 2-door stuff wouldn't fit. Now, I think on some of if you get a sedan, the 62 to 67 sedans can be converted from a 4-door to a 2-door, but the hardtops cannot, because the hardtops, well, I don't think they made a hardtop 4-door. What do I think of the GM 350 265 new from GM? That is exactly what I have in my 73 Nova. It's a 350 I bought from Summit Racing, and it's got, I think, 624 heads on it, which are, not terrible heads. They're the same heads that's on the budget build motor. It's got a flat tappet cam in it, and it's probably I've got Terminator fuel injection on it, and if I lean it out, I'm not on the edge, but I've got the tune good, and I've got the timing turned up. It's probably making 280 horsepower or so. It's a great driver engine. It's not fast. I think I run 14s in it without any kind of sticky tire, with the street tire on it. But it's a good little engine. It's a very good little engine to run and on the street. They are doing a roller. Okay, cool. It's okay, JB. It's cold there, man. Get the fire going. Stay warm. I think he did say it was a Magnum because I think he said it was a Magnum because I remember him talking about the oil pan the other day, the Canton oil pan they're putting on it. I want to say he said it was a Magnum. And the Magnum heads are better than the old LA heads. I mean, depending on who you ask, I'm sure. But I think my buddy Craig, he's the Mopar guy. No problem, Rob. Yeah. And see, I would like to do and they're using production heads on that 360, which is cool. I would like to do the same thing. And if I'm using production heads, either find some old double humps, which I've got a couple of sets, get those built, or find some Vortex. The problem with double hump heads is you pay more for them up front, and then you're going to have to spend $500, $600 on them getting them fixed. And in Vortex heads, they're all cracked. So, I mean, you can buy them new for $600 or $700, but then you have to machine them to accept more than 460 lift, I think. But I would like to do all production parts as far as forged pistons, stock bottom end other than some forged pistons. Use a factory type head, something that was made by GM instead of some aftermarket head, and then stick a good cam in it and do the same kind of stuff they're doing, so along the same lines. Hey, John, hot rods and 4x4s. See you later, man. Have a good night. Brian Powell is here. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Brian's one of the guys that I sent my early videos to, and he keeps me He keeps me straight. He lets me know what I need to cut out, what I need to have, if it's good or not. And a couple of months ago when I was sitting in the ER thinking I was dying, me and him talked the whole time I was in there. He kept my mind off the fact that I was sitting in a ER waiting room for 4 hours. So it was, he's a good dude, man. All right. Hippie Miller, dart heads cheap and work good. Right. But I would like to do, production heads and answer to, because they're doing the junkyard jet and they're doing all production stuff other than like cam and pistons. I can't remember what intake they're using. I think they're using a single plate. I can't really remember. And I think they're going to spray it. I want to say they're expecting some low 12s, high 11s on the motor, I think, and they're going to spray it. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look. Brian, are you on the road or are you home right now? Friday night, you're probably on the way home. But yeah, I think that'd be a good little project to do something like that, little budget car. Brian McIlvaney. Is it McIlvaney? Did I say that right? Snowy Nashville. All right. Oh, you're in Missouri. Okay, cool. You're on the way there. Snowy Nashville. I like Nashville. Nashville's a cool place. I like Memphis too, but I don't carry enough ammunition with me to hang out there for too long. Cool. Yeah, I'm doing this from my kitchen instead of the normal in the shop thing because it's like I said, it's 40-something degrees. 3 degrees here. Wow. Yeah, I think it was 41 when I started this, and now it is 39, and it feels like 37. So yeah, and the low tonight's 32, so it won't be too bad. Brian's got a Pro Street Nova. He had a 71. I was telling him about your car earlier, how rusty the bottom of it was. Can't believe you jacked it up and it didn't just fall apart. But he got him a Pro Street project he's working on. It's going to be a nice car. And I got your message, and my phone was acting up. I couldn't reply to anyone. I couldn't text. I could answer my phone, which is good for work, but I couldn't. I had to take everything apart and clean it. So I do have some ideas on that bar you're talking about on the dash. 16, Colorado. Where you at, Michael Masters? Everybody's in Colorado is in Denver, right? Everything's Denver in Colorado. 21 in Nashville. That's not terrible. We really don't have to run antifreeze too much here. Very little antifreeze in our engines. Yeah, so the engine that used to be in my 73, I drag raced it for years. I've built it 3 times with the same bore. It's 60 over. And the last time I drove it to Daytona and back. And it had a Comp Cams 274 XE cam in it, double hump heads. And I got it back and drove the car home. And, Daytona's about 350 miles one way. So we drove down there, drove all over Daytona while we were there. And then we drove home on Sundays. We were there 3 or 4 days. And, I'm running 70 miles an hour on the interstate, and I'm running 3,200 RPM, somewhere around there. So it's screaming at me the whole way. I get home. I really didn't drive the car very much at all year long until the next November when it was time to go back to Daytona. And the Friday night before Thanksgiving, me and my son got in the car and went driving around, and I got it on a few times, and I started hearing a tapping noise. Get home, pull the valve cover off, and I've got 3 flat lobes on the camshaft. So the next day I went to Summit, and I bought the GM crate motor that's in there now. Took the heads off the old motor, and I had 7 broken valve springs. So apparently all that driving home, either that or I floated the valves getting on it that night. But either way, it broke. So that motor's been sitting on a stand in my shop. Cylinders got a little rust in them. I may do a budget rebuild on that motor and stick it in one of these other cars I've got. So it's a 60 over motor, so I'm not going to bore it anymore. And you can go 80. You can get 80 over pistons. And I've got a sonic checker, so I can check the cylinder wall thickness and see if it's okay. But I probably won't. I'll probably just clean it up with a hone and go. Found a 69 Muncie 4-speed, $800. Tommy, I saw one on somewhere in Georgia on Facebook Marketplace. There was a Muncie on there. I want to say for about the same money. Are you in Georgia? 73. Hey, Lawrence Milda. Yeah, okay. 73 Nova Hatchback. I've never had a hatchback, but I love my 73s. The 307, yes, the 307 is a 283 bore and a 327 stroke. But now all 283s are small journal and all 307s are large journal. All the 307 started in 68. And other than maybe an exception or two, all engines from 1968 and up were large journal. maybe the 302 in the Z28s or the Camaro 302s, maybe they were small journal in 68 only. Some of them guys that really know their stuff can answer that, but I'm not sure. But anyway, yes, if you take a small journal 307 or 283, a small jet journal, I'll get this right in a second, a small journal 327 crank and put it in a 283 block, you've got a 307. Where are you at, Hippie Miller? Tracy Allen Rothatcher, 27 in Ohio at 845. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty close to what it's going to be here tonight. Hey, I'll tell you what, I've seen cars run down in the 10s with those 144 blowers, Brian. They make, I want to say they can make 7 pounds of boost or something like that. And I don't know if any of you guys know this. This is theory, not necessarily in practice. If you've got a 300 horsepower motor and you put 7.5 pounds of boost on it, you're going to make 450 horsepower, because 1 atmosphere, which is 14.7 pounds of boost, will double the naturally aspirated horsepower of your engine. So if you're making 300 horsepower and you give it 14.7 pounds of boost, which is 1 atmosphere, that is going to basically double your air. As long as your fuel is correct, you'll make double the horsepower, so you have 600 horsepower. So 7.35 pounds of boost is half of 1 atmosphere, so you'll get 50% horsepower, which on 300 horsepower motor would be 150 horsepower. Ohio. How confident am I building that 350 turbo? So after you get that thing apart and I put the whole, as much as I could, I put the guts together outside or without the case around it, basically. I have a much better understanding of how it works, how the pistons apply some of the clutches, and it stops sunshell or planetary or whatever from moving in a different direction. I've got a better understanding of that, and mainly getting everything clean and checking your clearances. So my biggest fear is not having my in-play clearance right on it and having a problem. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to do okay with it. They were small journal. Yep. 50 degrees. Where part of Arizona are you, Lawrence Milda? Hippie Miller. Yeah, I think the early 302s, I think there was a small journal 302. I may be wrong, but I remember reading something fairly recently, because if you look on some of these Facebook parts for sale, there's always some guy claiming that he's got a 302 engine. And then the Facebook experts come out, and a lot of those guys are experts, don't get me wrong. And they take apart every for sale ad that's trying to sell a 302. And I think I remember reading somewhere some of the very early 68s had the small journal cranks, but I'm not positive. Yeah, send me a PM. I'll text you back here when we get offline. Northeast Tennessee. So you're up close to Bristol. I hope not. I hope I won't have any issues. I'm looking forward to putting it together. Probably going to get everything finished. I've got a few things to clean up, and I'll get it put together this weekend, I hope. I've got to swap a 4.8 liter out of my son's truck this weekend, so I'm going to be working on that tomorrow. I'm hoping to get another video out tomorrow. So if you guys want another short video, if you guys want another short video of some Nova facts or something like that, let me know. If there's anything you want me to cover in a quick 10-minute video, I'll come up with something I can film pretty quick. Super Bad Gasser, what's going on, Steve? Yes, I like all small block Chevrolets, 327s. I'm not a big fan of the late 70s 265s or 267, whatever it was. They were terrible engines. Just south of Phoenix. Oh, by Firebird Raceway. Okay, cool. We like going. We stayed at the Wecopaw Resort when we went to Barrett Jackson year before last. And if we get to go this year, we might stay in the same area. Hey, Mike Zakan, New Zealand. All right. what are the hardest parts to get when restoring Novas? That'd make a good video. So, yeah, it is pretty cool casino. Very clean and quiet hotel too. It's pretty cool. But so what are the hardest part to get when you're storing Nova? All right, on the 68 to 74 Novas, anything 73, 74 interior is terrible. I mean, it's a lot of some of the 74 stuff is 1 year only. Some of the hatchback stuff is 1 year only. A few of the most of the 73, 74 stuff will interchange if it's a trunk car. The headliner stuff, some of the seatbelt stuff is different on the 74. But from 68 to 74, a lot of the stuff, the inner structure, if you've got, like on the budget build Nova I did, where the quarter panel meets the inner structure of the sail panel, where the windshield lip is. If that's rusted out, you just have to fix it. There's no the inner roof structure. They don't make that. The A-pillars, none of that. If you have a mid-1970, they switched to welded on hinges. So mid-1970 and up cars, if your hinges are messed up, you can't really the best bet's to weld them up and re-drill them, which is what I did to mine. I'm going to make a video on that. I've got a couple of people waiting on a video of me doing hinges. Cool. I'll have to try that. So how far is that from Scottsdale area? And for a long time I didn't realize that there's like several cities, Scottsdale, Phoenix, everything is Phoenix. It's like everything near Atlanta is Atlanta. I didn't realize that all those areas were still just Phoenix. Everything is in Phoenix. 10 miles. Oh, yeah, that's not bad at all, because I think Weekapaw was 20 miles out or 25 miles out. We had a pretty good ride to get there. But, yeah, as far as the restoring the cars, sheet metal's exterior sheet metal, pretty much 100% of that is available, unless it's a 73, 74. And then you can get the tail panels. You can get the lower part of the quarter panels. That's not a problem. The door skins can be made to work. That's not a problem. The roof skins can be made to work, so that's not a problem. So exterior sheet metal wise, they pretty much make everything. If you need a back seat for a two-door Nova, you're screwed. It's tough to find them, and they're expensive if you find one in good shape. I still need one for the budget Nova, and I'll try to get one. But if I don't, then I'll sell the car without a rear seat. But if you interior stuff is hard to get, A-pillar moldings, the stuff they don't reproduce, stuff like that. That's the hard stuff to get. Subframes are fairly easy to come by. Rear ends, if you're not picky, if you got to have a 12 bolt or you have to have an 8.5 inch, you'll take a little longer to find one. But the hardest parts for me to find on stuff is it's the small stuff. It's not the big stuff. Now my buddy Brian is having a hard time finding an ashtray, so I got to send him one. I was supposed to send him a few weeks ago, but I'm going to send that stuff out. But a lot of that stuff for the 73, 74 stuff, if somebody has converted their car to the older style, like I did Franken Nova, you can get their parts pretty cheap, and they're not too hard to find. But then the stuff that everybody wants, like the interior stuff, and like I said, a hatchback stuff, very difficult to find. If you need stuff for 73, 74 or hatchback cars, you need to find the Facebook group Chevy Nova 73, 74, because a ton of guys on there post parts. So a 327 with a 283 crank, that would be a 302 Chevrolet. And it's got a 4-inch bore then, so your cylinder heads are going to flow more with the same everything because you're going to have less shrouding around the valve. So you would. I like 307s because everybody else hates them. So my recommendations on a 72 with AC is to use the factory AC. You're never going to beat that. But if not, Classic Auto Air in Florida, I think they're in Florida. Classic Auto Air has good kit, and then Vintage Air. Vintage Air probably has more stuff out there, and I'm guessing better support. I don't know that, but they're a bigger company, I think. And Classic Auto Air also does restorations on factory stuff. So if you need factory parts, I think they can also get you. The only gripe I have about any aftermarket style AC units is that the evaporators are tiny compared to the factory one, but the compressors have pretty much the same BTU ratings as the factory. So those old axial compressors, the A6 compressors, whether they're superheat controlled or not, on the factory GM stuff, they had they're like 40,000 BTUs or something crazy like that, and your evaporator was large. So you really, if you have a POA valve or if you have an expansion valve kit, whichever year you have, if you have that, then your compressor doesn't overheat or overrun your evaporator. You've got plenty of evaporator for your compressor. It also requires plenty of airflow. All of your aftermarket AC kits, they use a really small evaporator for compact size. Even the largest kit, I think that Vintage Air sells, the evaporator and the airflow combination they have is nowhere close to capacity of the compressor. Even the small Sandin compressor, I don't think the evaporators and the airflow capacity is anywhere near the BTU capacity of the compressor. So they cycle a whole lot, which is not a terrible thing. They work fine, but not as good as the factory stuff did. But you're paying a price for the factory stuff because it's going to be on the outside of the car and your headers are going to hit and it's going to be a pain in the butt. Brian, just get you a 307 crankshaft and put it in a 350 block and you've got a 327. Now you'll have to balance it because the pistons and a little bit different. 73 trunk pran, yeah. And someone asked me earlier. I've got a farm kid earlier talked to me about that. I've got to reply to him. So here's what you can do with a 73 or 74 trunk. You can weld in flat metal and try to get the height because your passenger side, and I guess for you guys it'll be this way, your passenger side tank is higher. Passenger side of your gas tank is higher. Driver's side is lower. The driver's side is in the same place as a 68 to 72. You can put the center section of the pan, the trunk pan, you can cut that out and put in an older style trunk center section as long as you put the gas tank straps back in and then use the older tank. Well, then the tank angle is different because the 73-74 filler neck is up high, the 68-72 is down low. So what you'd have to do is you would have to get one of the two-piece tanks that has a neck with like a Fern Coast style coupling, a rubber coupling, and like the Sniper tank that I've got has a rubber coupling for the neck, so it's adjustable. And which, by the way, those things will rot and you'll have to replace them after about 2 years. Ask me how I know. So anyway, you can put that adjustable filler neck on there and lower or raise the neck up on that and use a 68-72 tank and the center section of the trunk floor and still use your filler neck in the 73-74 location. It's a lot of work, but I'm probably going to do a video on one of those one day. I got to come across another 73-74 Nova that has a rusted trunk, which should not be too hard to do. I agree, Hippie Miller. My first Nova was a 71, had a 307 in there, and I beat the snot out of that thing. Thanks, Mike. Zakin or Zakan? Zakan. I can pronounce that 40 different ways, and all of them will be wrong. So, Zachin. I'm going to go with Zachin. How about that? I'm probably wrong. Appreciate it, man. I love you watching the videos. Thank you. Transmitter told me when to go to Centruder. Shattered good cases are getting hard to find. Yes, because a couple of things happens with the Turbo 350 case where your center support goes in. The lugs there beat. If you don't have a case saver in it, the lugs there beat up. And then also if your accumulator, 1-2 accumulator piston spring breaks, it beats up the bore. Now you can put a sleeve in that. They make a sleeve kit for it. And the first transmission that I took apart actually had that spring was broken and that bore's beat up. I was going to order the Sonics. They come with it comes with a sleeve and then a smaller diameter piston to go in there. And I think what a lot of people do, Full Moon Hot Rods is in the house. Hey, how's it going, man? But yeah, a good Turbo 350 case is hard to find. And I've got a whole video of me taking apart the second one, and it was dirty, but I was going to try to put it together with building the transmission. But I may post tomorrow. I may post a video of me taking that transmission apart. I may do that. I know I've already got a video of me taking apart a Turbo 350, but let's try it again. 13 likes in a live stream. That's the first time I've had that many likes at the beginning of a live stream. So hit the like button. I always forget to ask everybody that. But yeah, if you don't have a case saver in it, a lot of times the center support beats the snot out of the lugs on the inside of the case, and it's damaged there. And I think a case saver fixes it. I don't know enough about them to be knowledgeable about that. But a lot of times where the pump bolts in, especially if it's got a very aggressive shift kit in it, since the second gear clutches, the piston is on the back of the pump. So when the piston applies the intermediate clutches, it's trying to push the pump out of the front of the transmission. And I learned that from watching precision transmission videos on YouTube. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but I can repeat what they say, and y'all think I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, when that piston applies, it's trying to push the pump out. So on that first case I took apart, one of the threaded parts of the case where the pump bolts in is actually cracked right there. And it can be repaired, and then I can put a sleeve in the accumulator piston bore and probably fix that problem. And I think put a case saver in it, and I can use it. But by the time I do that, I've spent on the case saver, I think is $100 or something. And then the accumulator piston sleeve is another $70. I've spent $200 trying to save a case when I can go out and probably buy 2 more cores for $100 and probably have a good case still. Well, I jumped up in a hurry. Thanks, guys. Yes, the universal case Turbo 350 transmissions are very hard to find. Yeah, man, a lot of good parts. I hate seeing stuff get crushed like that. I really do. And if any of y'all haul scrap, my apologies, but it makes me sick when I see a scrap guy hauling a bunch of car parts to the scrap yard. I'm lost, Brian. Yeah, it makes me sick when I see since I run an air conditioning business, I'm constantly going to the scrap yard taking a lot of copper and stuff like that when I scrap my units. And it makes me sick when I see old cars, engines and transmissions, the whole car, because a scrap guy is going to get, $5 100 pounds for it around here, and they're scrapping a whole car. And, it's got $700 worth of cores on it or parts that can be used or something like that. No problem. I hate to see that. It just kind of sucks. But of course, I did buy new toys for some videos. That'll be in a video. I bought me a drone, so I'll be running into Novas real soon with flying objects. That'll be pretty cool. That'll make some good videos there. Yep. Let's see, what time is it? 9:15. We'll be on for a little while longer. Actually, starting to get some more people on here. I guess everybody's getting notifications. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to hit that. I don't want to give myself money. Oops. Okay. Sorry, I'm still used to this live stream stuff. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not griping about anybody making a living selling scrap, but I see the worth in some things that other people don't see. Yeah, it hurts to see. No kidding, Stephen. It sucks. And I'm going to have this. I've got a couple of people interested in it. When I'm finished with this budget Nova, I am going to sell it. So I'm thinking about putting a super budget paint job on it, and then selling it. So that'll be for sale here in the next few weeks. I hope I get it done. I'd like to take it on a road trip, but with it being winter, once I get done with that, I'll need to free up my free up some money to do the next project with. And I'm thinking about either a, so you guys chime in here. I've got a couple of ideas for projects. I've talked about this with Brian and with Farm Kid, and I guess he's not here tonight, but I've thought about a few things. A budget drag build, like with stuff, no budget really, but not a restrictive budget like I did with the Budget Nova. So just throw it's kind of like the junkyard jet that Uncle Tony's guys are doing. So something kind of like that, just kind of throw it together cheap, try to use as many factory parts as possible, see how fast I can go, not worry about fixing a whole bunch of stuff on the car, minimal wiring, anything like that. So kind of like that, either that, a budget pro touring car, a pro street build, something like that. So I'd like to do something like that. I have to approve your comment, Hippie, because of what you said, but I don't mind approving it. Sometimes if you comment something weird, it hides the comment. So I think a couple of weeks ago, somebody commented something talking about a transmission and used the word tranny instead of transmission, and it hid the comment, which is, crazy. Brian's cutting up a 71 for parts. You're cutting up what's left of a 71, man. That thing's rough. Yep. But yeah, I'd like to do a budget pro touring car, either that or a budget pro street car, something along those lines. Maybe just see how much I can throw together, see how fast I can throw together with all the parts I've got laying around. Let's see here. So yeah, it's like I said, it's once I get done with the budget car, I'm going to finish the other 69 that I've got that I've been doing the quarter panels and roof skin, trunk floor, all that's the inner and outer wheel houses. That thing got out of hand in a hurry. That was originally going to be the 307, the grudge car. And once I started taking everything apart, I got neck deep into it and didn't see a reason not to go ahead and make it a nice car. Pro street or pro touring car? Well, it's one or the other, man. It can't be both. That would be hard to do. I would like to do I've got an idea. If I do a pro touring car, whether it be a budget pro touring car or just a regular pro touring car where I'm not worried about the budget. I'm broke all the time, so a budget car is always my go-to. I like the budget builds. Not everybody has 40 or 50 grand to throw at a Nova. So yeah, I would love to do a pro touring build and try to do it, maybe not budget, but not really crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Maybe keep the leaf springs, or make my own 4-link, something like that. That would be pretty cool. And then I'd like to do a budget pro street. That's right. As long as another old car gets saved, you are absolutely right. Yes, Superbad Gasser, Steve, me and him, he lives up in North Carolina, and I want to get up there. Me and him got to have an idea for a project, and that's going to be pretty cool. One day I'm going to get up to Ohio and see my buddy Brian, and eventually I'm going to go up to Canada and see a couple of people. I would love to. One of my subscribers, Farm Kid, he doesn't live very far from the Alcan Highway, and after watching my favorite roadkill episode is them driving to Alaska, which is that would be amazing in an old car driving to Alaska and driving up the Alcan Highway. So if I ever get up that way, I'm going to go see Russ up in Canada and anybody else that's along that route that I would go. Y'all need to check out. Steve's got a bad little Nova Gasser. Pretty cool little car. I want to do a bunch of things with builds. I'd like to do a bunch of builds with Novas. Pro Touring thing to 73 looks like 40,000 will be the number by the time I'm completed, unfortunately. And if you do one with the Shockwave or the either the Ride Tech stuff or the full Detroit Speed or Speed Tech, any of those guys, all of them make great stuff. If you do a full Pro Touring build on your Nova with their front end, the rear 4-link, whether it's airbags or the coilover stuff. If you do the rest of the car justice for that, you're going to spend 30 to 40 in a pretty big hurry. Yes, Brian, that would. I'll pick you up on the way. Make a roof and quarter cart car. I thought about with the vet cart and with Leroy from Cletus's channel, I thought about doing a Nova copy of that. Not sure it'd be recognizable as a Nova, but I thought about doing something like that with one of the cars I've got, especially one of the ones I've got, a 72 that is super, super rusty. And I've thought about doing something with it. Oh, quarter drag car. I got you. Yeah. Yeah. And I've thought about it. I've got Franken Nova, and I want to take Franken Nova to Rocky Mountain Race Week. The registration for that opens up this month. I'm going to try to get in 1.0. If I don't get in, I'll wait till 2.0 and see if I can get in there, see if I can get in drag week. I've got the Holly Terminator fuel injection that I'm putting on Franken Nova sometime in the next couple of weeks. Maybe probably this month. I've got to finish the budget Nova first. And when I get done with that, I'm going to start getting that Franken Nova ready. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, Franken Nova is going to the drag strip. I got to get the fuel inject. Well, next month. I mean, I've got to get the fuel injection done on it, and I'm going to take it to the drag strip. Our drag strips here pretty much stay open year round just because it doesn't get cold enough. Our local drag strip's open tomorrow, and I think it's going to be, 45 or 50 degrees by the time the track opens. It won't be too bad. And actually, the Sick Week, which is Tom Bailey's drag and drive events like Drag Week or Rocky Mountain Race Week, that is coming to a track close to me next month. So I plan on going down to South Georgia Motorsports Park and seeing some of that. So Cletus will be there. Finnegan and Freiberg are supposed to be there. Supposed to be a pretty good time. Yeah, Brian, I've thought about doing a Nova drag and drive event, or just a Nova road, kind of a road trip event for Novas. I don't know if I'm savvy enough to organize something like that, but I think it'd be really cool. I might get with a couple other people that are good at organizing stuff like that and see if we can organize. I don't want it to just be a show where we just all show up at some place. I would rather it be a drive around kind of event. I've got a line on a 71 for $4,000. Needs quarters, full interior, floors, trunk pants. I'm nervous, but in Iowa, there's not a lot of choices. That's true, man, because, Brian's up in Ohio, and there's a lot of those cars up there in your salt areas where they salt the roads and stuff. What's the other chemical they put on the road? It's not just salt. There's something else. But calcium or something. I can't remember. But those things eat those cars to death. So if you find one that's even halfway buildable, it's $3,000 or $4,000 for just a decent shell. Brine. Okay. So, yeah. So it's not like bromine or anything, is it? Like ammonia bromine? Ammonia bromine? Brine. Okay. Some chillers used to use brine in them, I think. JB's Little Shop. You need to go Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, the Holly Nash. So I like Beach Bend Drag Strip. I've been there once, and we went to the Carcraft Summer Nationals, I think 3 years ago. And it was terrible because nobody showed up. Don't know why. The magazine went away shortly after that. I'd always heard the Carcraft Summer Nationals was a giant event, and we showed up there, and there wasn't 50 cars, maybe 100. It was terrible. We had a great time at the track, and we went to the Corvette Museum, all the stuff in Bowling Green. That's a pretty cool area. Beach Bend is it's probably one of the coolest drag strips I've ever been to. It's definitely a bucket list drag strip because if you get there and all the bleachers, well, not all of them, but most of the bleachers are covered. It's kind of like being at Churchill Downs in Kentucky. You've got the covers over you. It's wooden. It's your shade in the shade. They've got fans. It's pretty cool. Jeff Grady, hey man, that is awesome, man. I hadn't heard from you in a while. And they've got the Heartland Nova reunion in June, I think, Jeff. And that's in Rock Island, Illinois. Did I get that right? That's all from memory, dude. So you're welcome. I'm just kidding. I probably screwed up the name of all that. I think it's the Heartland Nova reunion, and I want to say it's in Rock Island, Illinois. I'm not positive, but he sent me a shirt, and that's on the shirt. And yep. A Nova cruise and meet in the middle of East Coast, somewhere like Lexington, North Carolina. That'd be pretty convenient for some people. Yeah, man, that'd be cool. I would like to do one. I would love to do a cool Nova cruise. You know, I'd like to crash an event. I won't tell you the event I'd like to crash, but I would like to have like a ton of Novas show up to, let's pick an event that we're all going to crash, and just everybody's Nova show up at that event. Robert Witt. Hey man, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it very much. The Hippie Miller, hit the like button, people. Yeah, hit the like button if you're here, man. I appreciate it. If you already hit it, don't hit it again. It takes it off. Man, I'm thankful for you guys. And you know what? I hit 5,000 subscribers on January 1st. I wanted to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I didn't get another video out in time. Every time I put a video out, it bumps me up 40 or 50 subscribers. And I was like 11 subscribers away at New Year's. And went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, and I was at 5,002 subscribers. So a Mustang event, exactly, something like that. That'd be hilarious. We'd show up, and the crowd can get around us without getting ran over. It'd be pretty cool. I shouldn't have said that. That's not nice. We know how to leave, and we know how to leave a car show without running over people. That's all I'm saying. Hachi reviews whatever he wants. Pinch well is perfect. Subframe, good full roller, full bolt main. Yeah, really on the biggest thing to look at on those things is the areas around, like if you're a Mopar event, yeah, that would be fun too. The Mopar event, you got to be careful, because what those guys will do is get on their CB radios and they will corner you, and you can't outrun the CB radio. Oh, I'm going to get hate for that. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so Hachi, if I'm saying that right. Yeah, the thing is, with me, the exterior sheet metal is not a big deal. When you start replacing frame rails or rocker panels, that's a pain in the butt. When the bottom of your inner structure, where your doors, your inner quarter panel, where your quarter window, under your quarter window, that area where it gets into the inner wheelhouse, the outer wheelhouse, and the rocker panel, and all that area around your front leaf spring perch. Oh, goodness, sorry. All that area where it gets into your front spring perch and all, that area is where you start having a lot of issues with trying to get everything. You can't just change one piece. All of it, you'll have 2 or 3 pieces rusted, and you'll have to remove almost half the car. You have to cut the car in half long ways to change parts. Nova fenders were blocking the Christmas decorations. Yeah, so the upstairs of my shop has a bunch of Christmas decorations up there, and it has all my band equipment, my little studios up there, and a whole bunch of Nova parts. And the Nova parts have kind of taken over all of it. So yep. Must not be any Mustang guys here, because I didn't get any hate for my Mustang comment. I'm just saying there's not a YouTube compilation video Novas driving into people standing around on the street. That's right. Brian bought another one. He sold a Nova, bought a Nova. My wife says I sell a Nova and I buy 3. I'm just kidding. I don't sell Novas. A video tour of my shop. I need to do a lot of cleaning up first. It's embarrassing. Actually, my buddy Russ, Farm Kid, he talked to me about doing a what? He talked to me about doing a. He suggested the same thing. He's like, "Hey man, you need to do a tour of your shop and all that stuff." And I thought about doing it, but I've got a lot of cleaning up I got to do first. Moline, Illinois, the All Chevy Nova show. Okay, I thought it was the Heartland Nova reunion. I'm sorry, I get it wrong. 2022, June of 2022. Cool. Yeah, video tour of my shop. A video tour of my shop wouldn't be as bad as a video tour of my yard. That'd be pretty bad. Which in one of my latest videos where I talk about the Nova stuff, I'm going around my shop showing you some of my junk laying around. I was very strategic in where I put the camera so you couldn't see my mini junkyard I've got at my house. All right. Let's see. Wow, we're at 25 likes. That's pretty cool. I think that's the most likes I've ever had on a live feed. All right, let's go another 15, 20 minutes or so. Water that plant. That's a cactus. It's a Christmas cactus, so it's good. Yep. So that's a Thanksgiving cactus, not a Christmas cactus. It just got through blooming, and there's another cactus right beside it that is blooming, so they're fine. Yard is a shop storage lot. That's right. Yep. Well, I also have an air conditioning business, and I have a yard full of, well, not all the time, but a lot of times I have a yard full of old stuff that I have to haul off every few weeks. So a 68 to 74 Nova gasser. One of my friends on Facebook who is a member of the channel, and he friended me on Facebook, or not a member of the channel. I'm going to do memberships at some point, but the only reason I'm going to do memberships is so that I can put out some custom content for people who want to pay a membership fee. But it's not about the money. I just I'll have to spend a lot more time doing that, so I would do it for that reason. A 68 to 70. That guy asked me about putting a Mustang 2 front suspension on a Chevy Nova, and I'm not fond of that idea just because I don't think that the geometry on the Mustang 2 stuff is not going to work well on a Chevy Nova, and there's other ways you can get better suspension. It's more expensive, and I think that's why I wanted to do it. But as far as a gasser on a Chevy Nova, some gassers I like, and I think it looks a lot better on the 62 to 67 style Novas. I don't know that I've seen a third gen Nova with the gasser straight axle kind of stuff on there. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It might look, if it was done right, it'd be cool, but that body style, I don't know. The Super Chevy Show in Bristol, Tennessee is a good event. I have been there. Now it's been a long time. And actually it looks like the track, I think they've redone the track since I was there, because it used to look like the drag strip would go down and turn. Steve, are you asking me if Mustang 2 is not as good as Nova stock suspension? I think what he was asking me was there's a kit on eBay that's fairly inexpensive that has disc brakes. It's a Mustang 2 kit to go in a stock Nova subframe. And I don't think that you're necessarily going to get a good suspension geometry putting Mustang 2 kit on a stock frame. You will get rack and pinion steering, and you get disc brakes, and you'll get tubular control arms. But with the way that the lower control arms mount on there, the Mustang 2 suspension was designed to have that trailing arm or strut rod on the back. And what that does is when you're putting on brakes, basically you're trying to rip the lower control arms out. And a lot of heavier street rods that have went to the, especially your old trucks, that have went to the Mustang 2 suspension, they have failure at the lower control arm rear mounting point because they don't have that strut rod or that trailing arm that goes to the control arm on the stock Mustang 2 suspension. Now, if you've got a fairly light car and you're not braking hard, stuff like that, probably never going to have an issue. If you've got a glass street rod, something like that, it's probably not too big of a deal. But if you've got a heavier truck or something like a Chevy Nova with a stock subframe in it and you adapt that to it, you probably need to add a lot of reinforcement to your lower control arm mounts that come with the type of kit that mount those control arms, just so you don't, because when you stop the car, you're basically trying to tear the lower control arms. When the brakes stop, the momentum is trying to tear the lower control arms out. And the rear, I think it's the rear of the lower control arm, it'll rip the thing. So some of those kits are made without grade 8 hardware in the lower control arms. And a lot of guys will say that you need to swap out the bolts because basically it doesn't use a very good reinforcement on the lower control arm. That's what I'm trying to get at. So that combined with it probably being confined to the stock Nova frame rails probably doesn't give you any, probably doesn't give you a good geometry. If you use just straight frame rails and use the Mustang 2 suspension like you would on a 32 Ford or something like that, it probably is an improvement, but I'm not sure about if you use the stock Nova stuff. Right, like Brian said, Mustang 2 on a tube chassis is good. The chopped Nova in Carlito's Way is probably the ugliest Nova in the world. I mean, it's horrible. I hate that car. It's awful. It's got like a 52 Ford truck grill in it. It's got all the teeth in it. I don't like the colors for the flames. It's got square headlights in it. I hate that car. That's a terrible looking car. That's right, Steve. Super Big, yes, this early on the Mustang 2 is okay on the early Novas, not the 6874. Should I use full quarter or just cut out a few inches above the fender lip and rear quarter? It's good above the lip. Thank you for your time, sir. Okay, so Hachi on that, it depends on how bad your rust is. So think about it this way. A full quarter panel is a pretty good job, okay? You've got to you're going to have to cut, basically you're going to cut the whole thing out around all of your other panels, because if you replace a full quarter panel, you're dealing with the door jamb, which is by far the worst part of replacing a full quarter panel is the door jamb. It intersects with the door jamb, with the B pillar up at the top, around the top of the door jamb anyway, the rocker panel, the outer wheelhouse, the roof panel. It goes under the roof panel, so you're going to have to cut that there anyway. The inner structure on the windshield lip, it intersects with the deck filler panel. It intersects with the taillight panel. It intersects with the rear cross rail and the little fiddle panels that go in on there. So you're going to have 1,000,000,001 spot welds to drill out to replace the entire quarter panel. However, all of your welds, with the exception of the top of the sail panel, will pretty much be hidden and at a normal place. They're going to be hidden in a channel or somewhere that nobody's going to notice. If you have to cut in a skin going all the way across above the wheel well lip, you're going to have 4 or 5 feet of weld that needs to be completely welded and filled in. And when you weld that, you're going to warp the metal, you're going to shrink the metal a little bit, and you're going to have to stretch that metal back out. Oops, I kicked my cord here. You're going to have to stretch that metal back out when you shrink the metal, heating it up and welding it. Or it's going to be a pain to cover up with filler. Now, you may not stretch it or shrink it bad, but it's still probably going to need some attention with a hammer and dolly, or it's going to take a lot of filler to straighten up. And that's going to be right. It's going to be such a thing that if you screw it up, people are going to trip over it when they walk around your car unless it's dull. If it's shiny, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. JB's Little Shop, you have a good night, man. I'll check out your other videos. Yes, sir. You too. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can do plenty of things you just have to take your time when you're welding across the middle of a quarter panel, because it's going to be very obvious if you mess it up. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just saying that it's a lot of work to do the whole quarter panel, and then it's not terrible on the spot welds. Just if you're going to weld across the middle of a quarter panel, it's way more welding, but it's less work to get it apart, if that makes sense. This is a lot better than looking at my iPad and doing this on my phone. Maybe you can hear me. Can you hear me better on this than you can my usual live feed? Okay, you were stating that. I got you. All right. Sound is good? Okay, cool. My wife got me a new microphone for my laptop for Christmas, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to go live. I wanted to check this thing out. Way better. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that, man. Hopefully in the next month, I'll get Wi-Fi. I've got going to have the cable company come out and get another. Basically, you got to have another account to really have good Wi-Fi down in my shop. I'm going to have the cable company come out and put me another modem and stuff in. Yes, sir. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, man. Hey, guys, what's my favorite video you've got? People always ask me what my favorite roadkill is. I want to know, what is your favorite Shop 209 video? I'd like to know what you guys' favorite video is, or favorite car that I've got, or both. Your first time. Well, cool. Welcome here, man. Appreciate it. Tommy Cook. Your quarter meets the rocker panel on my Nova is rough. Needs rockers. Also, what's the best way to fix it, you think? So when the quarter panel goes down, thank you, Hippie. When the quarter panel goes down, and basically you've got your outer wheelhouse and your quarter and all your rocker and all kind of all overlap right there. That's rusted out. Without seeing it, it's hard to say, but the probably get the I would probably do the full quarter on that one. I mean, you could maybe you could build a patch. Like I said, without seeing it, I like to try to build a patch panel. I like doing that. Frank and Nova build series. Yeah, I need to get that thing to the track, man. It's killing me. I'm excited about putting fuel injection on Frank and Nova. So Brian's favorite videos are the Frank and Nova ones. Working good. Yep. So I'm hoping to do some more stuff on Frank and Nova. I've had a few people, I've thought about painting it, and I've had a few people tell me don't touch it. They like the junky look. And then I've gotten some hate because one of my little shorts, YouTube shorts I put up, has had about 30,000 views in the last few months. And it's driven a lot of subscribers to my channel, which is great. But also it leaves me wide open for some hate. Cool. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it, man. Cool. I like doing some of the tech stuff, and transmission video is pretty good. You know, like I said, I want to put out the other transmission video. I've got me taking apart, and man, that transmission was nasty. I would like to do I might post in the morning. I've got it ready to, not really ready. I've got a video almost ready to post. I got to film an intro and an outro for it, but I may post disassembling the second Turbo 350 tomorrow, because I'm telling you, when I say that thing was dirty, it had bugs living in it. And I don't know how the bugs survived in some oil, water, leaves, dirt, crap mixture, but they were there. Farm Kid, hey, my buddy Russ just showed up. Steven just found me. Cool. Hey, Farm Kid, what's your favorite video of mine, man? Yeah, dude, Brian, I'm telling you, that transmission, I think I sent you a picture of it. It looked like coffee grounds and mud and dirt and leaves in the transmission. Cool. All right. Yeah, I just got a notification. You put something on my Facebook page. And guys, if you haven't already heard this before, you can go to How to Buy Nova. Awesome, man. Good. I think I left some stuff out of that, but I think I did okay on that video. So a lot of that, if you guys want me to look at stuff, you can either go to my Facebook page, my Shop 209 Facebook page. You can post stuff to my page, or you can just send me a message on there. Johnny Fraley. Cool, man. I appreciate that. Doing the budget build Novas is your favorite. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to try to do another budget build probably right after I finish this budget Nova, because I want to vindicate myself to do one in a shorter time frame. So, because I kind of screwed up the last one by getting sick, and I want to I want to redeem myself a little bit. Yes, I actually answered that question earlier for somebody else, and I was talking about you. So I was telling Brian earlier, both of you guys sent me a message, and I got a bunch of water under my phone screen and couldn't answer anybody. I've been busy. So, all right. So on the 72 trunk panel 73, the center section, you can cut out the center section, and you have to use a 68 to 72 gas tank. And get one with the neck that is a separate piece, and it uses the rubber coupling so you can adjust the angle of the neck. So you have to get the gas tank straps for 68 to 70, or not straps, well, the straps too, but the gas tank support that goes on the floor patch. Put the 68 to 72 trunk floor patch in your 73, because other than the center section, the rest of it's there. And you may have to fab a small piece of metal, but it should go in pretty good. And then you put your reinforcements under there that hold your straps, and then your 68 to 69 tank or whatever will bolt in there. If you have the adjustable neck with the rubber collar on there, you can raise it up, and it goes right back through the same place on the panel without changing the tail panel. I think that's a pretty good. I really need to find another 73. A couple of people have hit me up with good deals on some project cars, and I'll get back to them when I'm looking for another project. So one day I'll have a car, a 73 or 74 that's got a rusted trunk that I'm not converting the back to like I did Franken Nova, and I'll do that. See how it goes. Just coat the patina on Franken Nova. So here's the deal: a lot of Franken Nova is bare metal, and it's going to rust. I'm in Georgia, and it's getting rust. I mean, it's different than what it was when I first started filming on that car, because sometimes that car sits outside, which is why it's covered with leaves right now. My shop's not big enough to keep it inside all the time. Now, the front of the car, I love the orange fender, and I love the factory blue that's faded on it, but there's not enough of it there. So I'm probably going to put something on some of the bare metal to help with it, but I really don't want to mess up the look of that car. But I'm not a fan of putting clear coat over patina, because then it doesn't look like patina. It looks like somebody has fake patina. So, and I'm not knocking anybody that's done that. I know it saves the patina and does it, but even the matte clear coats make the patina look kind of shiny and stuff like that. So I'm not a big fan of that. Cool. Thanks, Hippie. Linseed oil and Franken Nova. Tell you what, my buddy Craig, he's the one with the 70 Dart. And I'm going to get him on one of my live streams because, man, he knows a lot about Mopars and a lot about transmissions. Oops. I'm getting a service call. They'll have to wait. So anyway, he knows a lot about that stuff. He's got the Dart, and sorry, I lost my train of thought getting a phone call. We went to Daytona one year, and before he painted his 65 Valiant, he pulled out a bottle of transmission fluid because it had some old dull faded paint on there, and he wiped the whole car down with a thin layer of transmission fluid, and it was shining like a new penny. That was terrible, but it looked pretty good from a distance. You just couldn't lean up against it. Do I remember the lengths the shot needed to be? Okay, so here's the deal. Hey, round one, how's it going? The reason I did the the relocation, the way I did it was that I could use the factory shocks. So the shocks I'm using on that are just factory replacement shocks. Now, they are drag shocks, so they're adjustable, but they're the same length shocks that come with that are just replacement shocks. So if you went to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or Advance or wherever, and you bought stock shocks for that year car, they would fit on that kit that I made. Now, with one caveat to that, if you see guys that have the longer shackles and their cars kind of jacked up in the rear, or if they've got air shocks, you pretty much have no rebound left in your shock. You've only got compression because the shocks are extended almost all the way because the back of the car is jacked up. And the problem with that is there's not a lot of rebound in the factory setup. So what I did was I measured from where my shock location would be with the traction bars, which is where the bottom of the shock is located. And I measured to the top of the factory location and the stock location. And I shortened that just a little bit, which gives me I think I went with 1.5 inches lower. So my shock location on the relocated on the inside area is 1.5 inches lower than the factory. And maybe it's 1 inch, I can't remember. But the reason I did that was so that when I leave the car, leave the line at the drag strip, the traction bars pick up on the front of the car, and the body tries to separate from the tires a little bit, that I don't top out my shock, because I've had the problem before with the stock shocks in the stock location. What happens is when the body raises up off the tires, when the traction bar is doing its job, what will happen is the car comes up kind of fast, and the shock tops out, and it unloads the suspension, and you spin the tires. So I think the best thing you can do is probably, if you have shackles in the car, you need shock extensions, or you need a longer shock. And I don't know of a longer shock with a factory style setup. Number 1 likes the amazing Technicolor Dream Coat on Frankenova. Just had perfect chrome to the beat look, maybe scuff and clear. Yeah, and like I said, I like it. I'm not a fan of the big shackles. If I was doing a period correct car, the big shackles kind of look cool. And actually the Budget Nova's got some homemade shackles on it that are, 1 foot long. And I kind of dig the look. It's not bad. Not the look I'm going for with that car. But the biggest thing with shackles is too many people want the big tire. And my buddy Shane Wells has a green Nova that's got a 10-inch wide Krager on the back. Well, I think he's put new wheels and tires on it. But he found like a yard fine Nova, and it's got shackles on it or air shocks, and it's got a big old wide tire that sticks out of the side of the car 2 or 3 inches. That looks kind of cool. It's old school and looks kind of cool, but I'm not a big fan of shackles just by themselves. Dust don't stick to linseed oil when dry like transfluid oil. That's a good point. Frankenova has got it's got the Vision Star wheels on it, the black ones with the polished centers. I like those. Air shocks. Air shocks are probably better than shackles because the body of the shock is different from the air part. So you've got an air bladder with a shock inside of it. So it works a little bit better than the shackles because you maintain some of your shock travel. Air shocks are better than longer shackles, in my opinion. But yeah, I've got a set of slicks to go. I got dragged some ancient BF because they don't make them anymore, so that tells you how old they are. I've got some BFG radial drag radials on the back of Frankenova right now that are probably 12 years old, 13 years old, and they're 275/60. And I've got some 28x9 Mickey Thompson Radial Pro slicks to go on, bracket Pro slicks, bracket radial, whatever they are. They're radials and they're bracket pros, I think, something like that. That's what I've got on the back of, that's what's going on the back of Frankenova on a spare set of wheels. I've got a spare set of back wheels for that car because when I first bought the wheels and tires for it, or the wheels for it, I bought 5.5-inch back spacing to put those 275/60/15s on, which most people will tell you is the go-to back spacing to get a 275/60 on. The problem was the 5.5-inch back spacing set the wheel too far in and it hit the inner wheelhouse So I had to go with 4.5-inch back spacing. So I kept the wheels instead of returning them because with a 28x9 slick, they'll work fine. Man, I wish I knew where to get some of the D-rings for the stock Rally rims. I don't know. The Camaros had them. My wife's 78 Camaro has them. So either buy a set of wheels with them already or find some of the, I would probably try some of the Camaro forms. A lot of those guys take the 14-inch wheels off of their stock Camaro from the, early 70s up to 80 or so. And they had those Rally wheels on there. And a lot of those guys take those things off. Now, my wife's 78 Camaro, it has a different center cap than my 73 stock center caps were. Hers has a sticker on it, and she's got a full set and then 2 NOS spares that she's had forever. Caden, would a 72 front gear fit a 73, 74? Yes. My preference, change the whole front end, and I've got a video on that. You can check it out. If you're going to change just the grille, you're going to have some problems with the headlight bezels from the 73, 74 fitting around it, because the grille bracket for the 68 to 72 grille, the grille brackets mount to the radiator support, and then your headlight bezels mount to the grille bracket and the grille. So you're going to have a hard time changing only the grille. It can be done. You can also just change the bezels or just change the bumper. There's different combinations of how much of that you can change. But I think if you're going to change it, you change all of it. It just flows better. Yeah, you've got 1533s or something on there, don't you, Brian? That's a big tire on that car. Tracy Ellen Rothatcher. White lettered Big Boss 50 M50s, 14-inch with 12-inch aluminum slots. Wow, that's old school for sure right there. Do you have air shocks or you have shackles lifting that up? Coker Tires has them. Okay. They have the D-rings for the rally wheels. That's pretty cool. Or do they sell the whole wheel? Yeah, 33 with 15.5. Man, that's a giant. That's steamroller tires there. You got to have a 3-foot tall jack to get the car up high enough to get the tires out from under it. Shackles? Okay, cool. Are you running a stock shock with that? Because a lot of times with the shackles, you run out of shock travel. Yeah, I didn't realize Coker Tire had that. That's pretty cool. I would love for them to come out with a 15-inch rally that looks like that. They did Wheel Ventiques, I think, year one, and Coker Tire has some of them. But there's several companies out there making reproduction wheels in the bigger sizes, like the Snowflake Pontiac wheels that have the they make those in 17s, I think, now. I have to check. I have to look that up. That's pretty neat. All right, let's go. We've got 7 minutes left. I'm going to stop at 2 hours. And then I got to call my customer back, see what he's got going on. Stock shocks with adapters. Cool. So you've got the height adapters on the extenders. Yeah, and the 14s, originally, before I got the deal from Mr. Ronnie on those Centerline Convo Pros, the dog's making a lot of noise. Before I got the Centerline Convo Pros, I was going to use the 14-inch rallies on that car because I think, hey, Tommy, thank you, man. I'll try to give more notice next time. 15s, yeah. Before I was going to use those 14-inch rallies. So I like that. They looked good on my 73 back when it had stock wheels and tires on it. Well, stock wheels. It's also hard to find 14-inch tires now. Good ones. Yeah, man, I'll message you, Brian. Thank you, buddy. Come here. Come here. You want to see my other big girl here? See if we can. My other big girl. Come here. Come here. She's 115 pounds of pure sweetness, and she's scared. So yeah. All right. She's a scaredy cat. Fuzzy cubes on the mirror. Yeah. I've thought about doing a period correct build where I do something 80s style and do something 80s style. So yeah, that's why, because it's harder to do. Cool. Thanks, Hippie. Y'all have a good night, man. And Caden, that's why you don't, like I said, I've got a video on converting the whole front end and the whole rear end. And I really need to do another video on that that's better, because I was still figuring out how to do videos back then. Sheepskin seat covers. Hey, I've still got I like using the leather wraps on the steering wheel. The ones that have it's got the leather wrap and it's got the shoelace kind of wrap going around it. I still like those, and that's old school, I think. When you're driving, that's the way to do it. Especially if your steering wheel starts coming apart. If you got a later model Nova with the rubber steering wheels that come apart, the rope style. Yeah, there you go. Adam SS. 17 by 10 torque thrust, 5.5 inch back space, and 255, 17. No rubbing. I think I've got your combinations written down somewhere or saved, because a footprint gas pedal. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm scared to death to do some interior stuff. I did that headliner video, and that was terrible. Of course, that was a bad kit. I'm not real happy with the quality of that kit, but got a few more minutes if y'all got some questions. My tea assistant just showed up. Richard Rollins has a beer assistant. I have a tea assistant. I could do a panel paint job where I have panels. There's actually a guy that has the have you guys seen that white and blue Nova? The guy's got it done old school style. That thing is so cool. That's what your work van has on the steering wheel? My work truck's a 2015 Z71. So I've got three. I've got an 03 Silverado. I've got a 2015 Z71 two-wheel drive, which is weird, but that's the last year of the two-wheel drive Z71. And then I've got a 2017 Silverado work truck. I've got 3 work trucks. I will be doing I was talking about that earlier. I'm going to do a paint job video on the budget build Nova. Craig is going to, we're going to try to do a paint video on his 70 Dart. It's not a Nova, but it'll be a pretty good video. Why do I like the 73 over the 68, 72? Okay. So first of all, I like 73 better than 74 for 2 reasons. Number one, I was born in 73. That's my year. So I like that better. But the main reason I like the 73 better is the 73 has bumper brackets instead of the shock absorbers. So they don't stick out as far as the 74. Now, the bumpers are mainly the same as far as design. The 74s have a different slot in them and got the little bumper pushes on them, the little rubber bumper pads on them. But the 74s stick out like 1.5 inches, 2 inches farther than the 73 front and rear. And to me, that little bit makes a giant difference. So a lot of people want to tuck their 74 bumpers or their 73s. And I think if you tuck the 73s, it ruins the look of it. So tucking the 74 makes it look like a 73, and then it's fine. I prefer the grill without the bow tie in it, which the 74 has the bow tie in the grill. But I like my first Nova was a 71, so I love the other ones. But I just think the 73, 74 to me, it's the same. It still has some muscle look to it, and it's a little bit more modern. And I know a ton of people don't like the big bumpers, and they don't like the turn signals in the grill. But to me, it looks better. And honestly, they sold more Novas in 73 and 74 than they did in a few other years combined previously. So the general now, most people like the 68 to 72s better, but from 68 to 74, the 73 74s sold the most. Weirdest steering wheel ever had on Nova was a 9-inch spoke without power steering. That hurts my arms thinking about it. A video on adding power windows but using a kit motors that you can get over the counter. I almost did a video on electric power steering, but there's no room on a 3rd gen Nova to get the motor anywhere because the entire steering shaft is covered. My former boss has a crazy 66 or 67 Chevelle, like it runs 8s in the quarter, got a big block. It's got a cage in it. It's kind of a pro street car. And he wanted me to put electric steering on it. And just with the headers and stuff he's got, I can't get the Saturn. They make a Saturn. Well, they made a Saturn steering box that you can get a replacement steering box. And they make a controller for it where you can put electric power steering on some of the cars if you have room. Well, on his car that he wanted it on and on a Nova, there's really no room to do it. So I thought about doing that. And power windows on a Nova, maybe. I like the roll up and down windows, but that might be a cool video. I might have to do that one day. 84 E250 extra long van, good flooring rig. Yeah, that's a carpet van for sure. I've actually got a 76 Ford Econoline van with a 351 in it. It's been sitting for probably 15 years without cranking up. I need to do a video on cranking that up. My father-in-law gave that to me, and it's the long wheelbase. It's not the extra long, but it's the long. Never knew about the 73, 74? Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff about that, and a lot of guys think they're exactly the same and stuff like that, but you were born in 70, so you're 3 years older than me. Was there a 73 and a half year because my 73 SS hatchback has the bumper shocks in front and back? See, I've heard people say that before. By chance, was it sold in California? Because here's the thing. The 73 mandated a 2.5 mile per hour bumper. That's why they made the change. And because in South America, they didn't change. They made that car until 78, I think, with the 72 style. And then in 74, they changed that to a 5 mile per hour bumper, and they had to add the bumper shocks. So I've never verified a 73 with bumper shocks. Now, what is your year VIN? Are you sure it's 73? I had to ask. It's got the metal filler, bumper filler in the front too. Wow. That's crazy. Now your title, I forgot where you're at. You're in Canada? No, you're not in Canada. Where are you at? It'd be interesting to know what your VIN is. The first 5 of your VIN. Or, yeah, 11. Well, you get a 73, so yours will be a little bit different. It'll be like a 1Y or something like that. Can't remember where the year is in that one. No power steering on any pre-75 vehicle is like in a car. You got that right. Now, my 73 does not have power steering. I've got a manual gearbox on that. And my wife drove that to work all summer long because we needed another work truck. And I took my 2015 Z71. That was her daily driver. I had to drive that for work. When I hired a new guy, put him in one of the other trucks. And she drove my 73 to work all summer long with no air conditioning and no power steering. So she's a trooper. Yeah, I know the cow tag will have it, but I couldn't remember which year. I couldn't remember which digit in the VIN on the 73 has the year model. I know the 5th is the engine still. Mine's got an H in it somewhere, so it's a custom. Right. And see, I mean, I believe that he's got a 73, but every once in a while you see a car that has a 73 title that's a 74 car or vice versa. The front bumper, small holes. Right. So you've definitely got a 74 front bumper. 1X, yeah. I don't know, man. That's interesting because I've had a few people tell me they had a 73 with the bumpers on it, but I don't know. Because you never saw any 72s with a 73 bumper, and you never saw any 75s with a 74 bumper. And I realize it's a body style change, so I'm being a little bit dramatic there. But it certainly could happen, but it would have to be a really late production number. So my production number on Franken-Nova is 6666, 4 sixes. So it was one of the first 7,000 cars built. Right, like Steve Superrad Gasser said, would have to be a late year production if they switched over, and maybe that's what happened. Be interesting what your production number is on there. 6th digit in the VIN. So there you go. That's where it goes. Thanks, Brian, for looking that up for me. And I took at some point, I took my cow tag off of my 73 Nova and set it somewhere because this is something you guys may not know. 73, 74 Novas, the cow tags screw on, they're not riveted. So you can just unscrew the screws and take it off. All right, so your is 643. So they all started with a 1. So yours is 164 310. So yeah, fitting numbers for it. Yeah, I thought so too. That's interesting. 64,000, and they built, I think, 170 or something, 270,000 of the 74s, 73s. It was a lot of them. I don't think I can look up Nova Resource production numbers while I'm on the laptop here. I don't know if y'all lost me when I did that or not. $64 310. I think all of them started with 100,000. So I think it was 100,001 was the first one. Because mine is 106666. Nope. Still, you couldn't see me, or you did see me? You did lose me, didn't lose me? I don't remember what I asked. I was going to look up how many 73 Novas were made. Let's see here. Production numbers. There you go. 264,073 Novas. So yeah, that's early on in production, I guess. So I have no idea why your car's got bumper shocks on it. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to answer this call and go do some work. It's late and it's cold, so somebody doesn't have heat. And it's already about 8 minutes past where I was going to go. I've been on here 2 hours. So listen, guys, y'all have a great night, great weekend. I'll get a video out, even if it's a short one. I'll get a video out here in the next day or two. Friday or Monday car, there you go. All right, Steve, Russ, we'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll get a video out, something out this weekend. And hope to hear, I'll do a live again as soon as I can. And thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. Everybody that's new here, thanks for checking me out. You lurkers that never comment, I love you guys too. We'll see you next time. See you. If I can find the end. There we go. There we go. All right. See you guys later. Boom.